Welcome again. This is the 9th lecture of the series Vector Incubation Academy. In the previous lecture, we have learnt about how we calculate the resultant of the two vectors using the triangle law of addition. Now, in this lecture, at first, we'll try to understand how we calculate the resultant of two vectors using the parallelogram law of addition. Because in the previous lecture, when I have shown that if the forces are acting on the particles, two forces are acting on the particles, and then if we arrange these two vectors, these two force vectors and the resultant force vector, then it will take two types of forms. One is a triangle and another is the parallelogram. So here you will see the parallelogram law of finding the resultant of two vectors. In this parallelogram OACB, two adjacent sides are here, OA and OB, represents two vectors, A vector and B vector, and the resultant of the A vector and B vector is denoted by C vector, which is denoted along the diagonal of this parallelogram vector. So what is the statement of the parallelogram law? If two vectors represents two adjacent sides of a parallelogram respectively, then the diagonal represent the magnitude and the direction of the resultant vector. So here in this figure, just see OACB. The A vector is represented by OA, B vector represented by OB, C vector represented by OC. So you can say the OC vector is equal to OA vector plus OB vector, just like this. So the OC vector equal to OA vector plus OB vector. So the C vector equal to A vector plus B vector. So what this OA actually represents? Basically the length of the OA vector represents the magnitude of the A vector. The length of this OB vector represents the magnitude of the B vector. The length of the OC vector represents the magnitude of the C vector. To prove the resultant law, the last application, what we have drawn, there is a point C. We have drawn a perpendicular on the extension of OA and it intersects at the point D. So here CDA is a 90-degree angle. So here are two right angle triangle. One is the smaller one, CAD. This one is the smaller one, and COD. This is the bigger one. For these two right angle triangle, we will write down the Pythagoras theorem. For that is the hypotenuse square. All of you know that hypotenuse square equal to base square plus perpendicular square. So for the smaller triangle ADC, AD is the base, DC is the perpendicular, AC is the hypotenuse. So AD square plus DC square equal to AC square. And for the bigger triangle OCD, OC is the hypotenuse, OD is the base, and DC is the perpendicular. So OC square equal to OD square plus DC square. But what this OD actually represents? OD is basically the sum of OA plus AD. So if I replace this OA plus AD whole square, then it will becomes OA square plus 2OA into AD plus AD square plus DC square. But this AD square plus DC square is equal to this AC square. So I replace this AC square. Now we know the parallelogram. It is a parallelogram. So if it is a parallelogram, so two sides are parallel. OA and BC are parallel and equal. OB and AC are parallel and equal. So if I replace, so just see, if I replace this AC square by OB square, because it will not harmful. AC and OB are equal and parallel. So I replace it. So it will become OA square plus OB square plus 2OA into OD. But what this AD is? What this AD is? Just see what this AD is. AD is this one. This one is not the part of the parallelogram. We have drawn this thing, but this thing is in the expression. This thing is in the expression. Since this thing in the expression, so we have to replace it. What we know actually? What we know actually? From the beginning we know OA, OB, OC. We don't know anything else. So we have to replace. So we have to replace all of the things, and we have to replace all of the things. We have to replace all of the things in terms of OA, OB, and OC. So here is OC square. There is OB square, OB square. So 2 into OA into OB into AD divided by OB. Okay. So I just multiply and divide OB so that this term remains the same. But what this AD by OB represents? If I look at the diagram, AD is the base and AD is the base, and where is OB? OB is here. But OB and AC is equal. So if AD by AC is cos theta, AD is the base and AC is the hypotenuse. If AD by AC is the cos theta, then AD by OB is also cos theta. So if I replace this thing, then it will become OA square plus OB square plus 2OA into OB into cos theta. So I just replace the values. So OC square becomes C square, OA square becomes A square, OB square becomes B square, and 2 similarly 2A into B, and this is the cos theta. So this is the value of the resultant if I want to find out, and C equal to root over of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. So the same value of the resultant vector we have found out in using the parallelogram law, just we have found in the previous lecture using the triangle law. But one thing we have to find out, that here the resultant vector C not only have the magnitude, we have know the how to calculate the magnitude, but what is the direction of it? That is denoted by phi. What is phi? Phi is the angle between the OA and OC, that is vector A and C vector. So if I are able to find out the phi, then we can find out the direction of it. Then just see what is phi. If I want to phi, then phi is the part of the triangle OCD. So OCD is a right angle triangle. So we can write down CD divided by OD. So it becomes the tan phi. So if I write down this, tan phi equal to CD by OD. But one thing we have the problem, that OD is the basically OA plus AD. So if I write down how it will looks like, just see, it will looks like this, that is CD divided by OA plus AD. But CD is not known to us. CD is the perpendicular drawn from the point C, and AD is also not known to us. That all of these are the part of the small triangle. So we have to replace this in terms of AB, A and B and the vector theta. So we just multiply this term by AC and divide by AC. Here also this AD can be represented as AC into AD by AC. Now we'll look the diagram, what this CD by AC represents and what this AD by AC represents. If you look at this small right angle triangle ADC, AD is the base, CD is the perpendicular, and AC is the hypotenuse. So what this AD divided by AC represents, it is the cos theta. CD divided by AC represents sin theta. So if I replace in the equation of tan phi, what it will become? So just see what we get. Tan phi equal to AC is replaced by B, CD by AC replaced by sin theta, and OA replaced by A, and AC replaced by B, and AD by AC replaced by cos theta. So A, B and theta is known to us. That means the vector A, vector B and the angle in between A and B is known to us. So we can find out the magnitude of the resultant vector from this relation, and the angle of the resultant vector with the a vector by these relations. Okay, so what are the usefulness or the implications of these relations in several fields of vector that we are going to show now. The first case that we have taken, that is theta equal to 0 degree. What is theta equal to 0 degree means? There is angle is 0 degree. That is, there is no angle between the a vector and the b vector. So there are two possibilities. If there is no angle between the a vector and b vector, so the a vector and b vector may be parallel, and the a vector and b vector may be collinear at the same line. In this case and in this case, the angle between the a vector and b vector is 0 degree, and obviously both of them in directs the same direction. Okay, so c equal to root over of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 0 degree, just replacing the value of theta. So it will become a square plus b square plus 2ab, because cos 0 degree is 1. So it will root over of a plus b whole square equal to a plus b. So phi equal to tan inverse b sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. We know that if I replace the value of the theta equal to 0 degree, then what it will represent? It will represent b sin 0 degree, a plus b cos 0 degree. Sin 0 degree is 0, cos 0 degree is 1. So b into 0 gives 0, a plus b into 1 gives a plus b. Here should be a plus b, but whatever be it, 0 by something becomes 0. So it will become tan inverse 0, so 0 degree. So the resultant will be also along the same direction, and along the direction of the a and b, and of the magnitude c equal to a plus b, that we are going to see now. In these two diagrams, you just see it is an object. If I apply F1 force and F2 force along the same directions, they are parallel to each other. Then they are parallel to each other, not along the same line, they are parallel to each other. Then the particle or the object here, basically it actually feels the force F1 vector plus F2 vector. So it feels the resultant of these two, and but along the same direction. And again it is a particle, and F1 and F2, two forces are acting on this particle along the same line. Here they are parallel, but it is acting along the same line. If it is along the same line, the same results is here, that the particle actually feels F1 plus F2. Theta is 90 degree. That is, the a vector and b vector are perpendicular to each other. The angle between a and b is perpendicular to each other. Then if they are perpendicular to each other, then we can say that the a vector and b vector are orthogonal to each other, just like this. A vector and b vector is orthogonal to each other. Then if I replace the value theta equal to 90 degree in the equation, the resultant, it will become c equal to root over of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 90 degree. The value of the cos 90 degree is 0, so c equal to root over of a square plus b square. The formula of the angle is phi equal to tan inverse b sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. So if I replace theta here, b sin 90 degree, a plus b cos 90 degree. The value of the sin 90 degree is 1, the value of the cos 90 degree is 0. So it will be tan inverse b by a. So just see and look at this diagram. A and b are orthogonal. So the magnitude, that is the c, that is root over of a square plus b square, and the angle phi is here, and the angle phi is here. What is phi? Phi equal to tan inverse b by a. Just think, it is b. If I replace it b here, okay, then this is the perpendicular, this is the base. So perpendicular divided by base. So tan phi equal to b by a. So you can find out the direction like this way. So on this object, if f1 vector and f2 vector are acts in the perpendicular directions, that is, one is along these directions and another is along this direction, they are perpendicular to each other, then the resultant will be along f1 vector plus f2 vector. So just see here, the last possibility is that the angle between the two vectors is 180 degree. That is, two vectors are completely opposite to each other, just like this. A vector and B vector is opposite to each other. If they are parallel and opposite vectors, or they are collinear, or this is the collinear and opposite vectors, at that time I can tell you that we can find out the resultant of it using the law, that is C equal to root over of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Theta is 180 degree here. The value of cos 180 degree is -1. So it will be root over of a square plus b square minus 2ab. So it will be a minus b whole square. Okay. Root over of a minus b whole square give you a minus b. But here one thing is considered, that the magnitude of a is greater than b. If somehow the magnitude of b is greater than a, at that time it will be b minus a. So basically the c is basically a difference b. So we can write down this a, this is a difference sign, it is b. So it is valid for both b and a. Phi equal to tan inverse b sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. So theta is 180 degree, and here also the theta is 180 degrees placed. So if it is placed, sin 180 degrees 0, cos 180 degrees 1. So if I cos 180 degrees minus 1, so if I replace this 0 divided by a minus b, so it is again 0 degree. So the resultant vector is along the directions of that of the you can say that is parallel. It is evident from the diagram, that is a vector and b vector. So see, just see, this much is a vector, this much is b vector. So if we just replace this much amount from it, if we just subtract this much amount here, then you will get the c vector. Since the a vector is greater, so the resultant will be along the directions of the c vector. Just the subtractions takes place here. Okay, now this is the object. F1 vector, F2 vector just acts from equal and opposite directions, not equal, but they are from opposite directions, they are different in magnitude. So it will be F1 minus F2 vector. So in each of cases, I want to say, in each of the cases that I have discussed, I want to say, if the two vectors are equal, if the magnitude of the two vectors are equal, at that time what will happen? So just see, in the first case, theta equal to 0 degree here, that is the parallel, collinear and at the same directions. At that time, if a and b are equal, if the magnitudes of a and b are equal, then it will be c equal to 2a, that is twice that of the length of the a vector. The magnitude of the c vector is 2 into a, but there is no change in here, because as 0 divided by a plus a, that is 0 divided by 2a, so it will be again become 0. So there will be no change here, but the angle is 0 degree and the magnitude is 2a. What will happen in case of 90 degree? In case of 90 degree, the vectors are perpendicular and orthogonal. If they are perpendicular and orthogonal, and if a equal to b, then you can say in this particular case c equal to root over of 2 into a, because a and b are equal. So a square plus a square is 2a square. If I take the root over, so it is root 2 into a, and in that case the phi equal to tan inverse a divided by a, so it will be tan inverse 1, so it will be 45 degree. Then at that time the angle is 45 degree. Then angle is in the midway between the a vector and the a vector if they are of same magnitude. Now for the last one, that is theta equal to 180 degree if they are parallel and opposite, and if a equal to b, at that time a difference b, that is the difference between the a vector and b vector, at that time is 0. So c equal to 0 here, that is we get, and the c vector equal to 0 vector, and that is the significance of the 0 vector that I have told in the previous lecture. If the two vector is a 0 vector, if the two vector is equal and opposite to each other, at that time the resultant will be a 0 vector. So 0 vector means at that time the total force acting, the resultant force acting on it is 0. Okay, so this is the thing, and the significance of the zero vector I discussed in the previous lectures. I tell you that you just see the previous lecture, you will understand it very easily what is the significance of the zero vector in mechanics, in mathematics, in vectors. Now we will do some applications that we have derived now, that is c equal to root over of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, and phi equal to tan inverse b sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. The question is given here, find a condition for which the resultant of the two equal vectors, that is a and b are equal. Resultant of the two equal vectors is root 3 times of any one vector. Any one means here both are a and b are equal. So at first we write down the equation, c equal to root over of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, and the resultant is root 3 times of any one of the vector. That is, the resultant is here c equal to root 3 into a. So I replace it here, and since they are two equal vectors, so I replace this a equal to b. So just see a square plus 2a into a cos theta. So root 3 into a whole square is 3a square. Root 3 into a whole square is 3a square. A square plus 2a square cos theta. So here will be 2a square. So 3a square minus 2a square is a square. So it will be 2a square cos theta. So a square equal to 2a square cos theta. So cos theta equal to 1 by 2. So theta equal to 60 degree. So this is the condition. If the two equal vectors makes an angle 60 degree with each other, at that time only the resultant is root 3 times of any one of the vector. Let us take another question. If a vector plus b vector equal to c vector and magnitude of a plus magnitude of b equal to magnitude of c, then calculate the angle between the a vector and b vector. Okay, or you can say the question may comes, comment the what you can say about the a vector and b vector. What is the relations between the a vector and b vector? The question may come in different way. So if c equal to a vector plus b vector, that is the vector addition, but this thing is not the vector addition, this is the scalar addition, but these have a significance. What is the significance of this? That's a vector and b vector's resultant is c. So we apply the law of resultant, that is c square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So we replace this c equal to a plus b here. So I replace a plus b whole square, c equal to a plus b, so a plus b whole square. So it will be a square plus b square 2ab cos theta as it is. I break it, a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab. So a square b square cancels out from both sides. So it will be 2ab equal to 2ab cos theta. So cos theta equal to 1, cos 0 degree is 1. So since the cos 0 degree is 1, so theta equal to 0 degree. So a and b vector, the angle between them is 0 degree. At that time this condition is satisfied, that is the a vector plus b vector equal to c vector, a plus b equal to c. So if I try to say it in language, at that time it will say, if we add the two vectors vectorially or by scalar if we add, at that time there will be no change. Okay, so at that time we can say it is possible only when the angle between the a vector and b vector is 0 degree, that is they are parallel or unidirectional. Parallel and unidirectional, that is either they are parallel, maybe their value are different, here it is not say their value are same. So a vector and b vector is parallel, and unidirectional means they are along the same direction. At that time if we add vectorially or if we add by scalar, just add the two scalar, that is the magnitude of these two, it does not matter at that particular time. So this is very strong implications of the vector. If the two vectors unidirectional and parallel, it is need not to concern about their vectors, we can treat them as a scalar. A vector plus b vector equal to c vector, okay, but relations of the scalar is something different. That is the sum of the square of a and b, that is a square plus b square, is equal to the square of the resultant. A square plus b square equal to c square, so that they are orthogonal vectors. Orthogonal means they are perpendicular to each other. The angle between them is 90 degree. You have to show this. So a vector plus b vector equal to c vector. Okay, so the resultant of a vector and b vector is c vector. So you can apply the resultant law, that is c square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So, but c square equal to a square plus b square here, that is given in the question. We replace it here. If we replace it here, then a square will cancel with this a square, b square will cancel with this b square. So it will be 2ab cos theta equal to 0. A is not equal to 0 because A is a vector, obviously. We don't consider it as a 0 vector. B is also not equal to 0 and 2 can never be 0. So there is only one possibility left, cos theta equal to 0. So theta equal to pi by 2 or orthogonal. That is the angle between the A vector and B vector is 90 degree if we add the vectorially, and the scalar rule is a square plus b square equal to c square. Just see here. In the next question, a vector minus b vector equal to c vector. Here the subtraction of the a vector and b vector is given. A vector minus b vector equal to c vector and a plus b equal to c. What is the condition between the a vector and b vector? So c square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. We replace c equal to a plus b. Okay, we just break it, a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Okay, here why the minus sign? Because I want to say here a square plus minus b whole square minus 2 into a into b into cos theta. Minus sign comes due to this minus here. Okay, so a square plus b square will cancel out with this. Only 2ab equal to minus 2ab cos theta. Okay, so cos theta equal to minus 1, so theta equal to 180 degree. So one thing just keep in your mind, if a plus b equal to c, if a plus b equal to c and there is a vector subtraction, if these two conditions are there, here is a negative, a vector minus b vector equal to c vector and a plus b equal to c. At that time a and b are opposite to each other. Okay, they are opposite to each other and they may be parallel to each other. This thing we have shown in some one example before. I want to show you that example. That is, just look at the example that we have done previously. Here a vector plus b vector equal to c vector. Here a plus b equal to c. There is only one thing change, and the change is this, a plus b equal to c and a minus b equal to c. There is only one thing is changed here. Okay, so I think you have understood what I want to say. A vector minus b vector equal to c vector and a vector plus b vector equal to c vector. There is only one change, but it tells lots of things. Here they are unidirectional, here they are in opposite direction. So but they both are in the case, in the both case they are parallel. Just see, if I want to see you something that is we have told related to like this, p plus q vectors resultants magnitude is equal to p minus q vectors resultants magnitude. At that time these two vectors are perpendicular to each other. Okay, at that time these two vectors are perpendicular to each other. So magnitude of p plus q vector, p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta, and magnitude of p vector minus q vector equal to p square plus q square. This is the minus 2pq because q is negative here, cos theta. So p square plus q square and p square plus q square cancels out. So 2pq cos theta here is minus 2pq cos theta. This side, this comes on the left hand side. So 2pq cos theta, if it comes this side, there will be another 2pq cos theta. So 4pq cos theta equal to 0. So P is not equal to 0, Q is also not equal to 0, 4 can't be 0, so cos theta is 0 degree. Cos theta is 0 only when theta equal to 90 degree. If I want to show you diagrammatically how it looks like, because if we go to the flashback we have done in the previous lectures, we want to show it diagrammatically. Here we have done it mathematically. So if I want to show it diagrammatically, how it looks like, just look at this question that we have solved in the previous lecture diagrammatically, and now we have solved it in by the mathematically from the triangle law of addition, from the parallelogram law of addition. Just see, I try to repeat it again. P vector and Q vector, resultant is P vector plus Q vector. Okay, there is the minus Q vector. I just reverse the direction, it will be minus Q vector. Okay, so the resultant of P vector and minus Q vector is this. Clear? If I want to find out what is the angle here, the angle will be tan inverse. If I write it for this case, this angle will be here tan inverse perpendicular divided by hypotenuse, and that will be Q divided by P, magnitude of P. Similarly, in this case, if I want to write down, then you just see that in this case also it will be Q, there is a minus sign, magnitude of P, that will be minus 45 degrees. So 45 degree minus 45 degrees in total 90 degree. Okay, and if I try to show it slightly, if I try to rotate it this way, just see these two angles, angle between the P plus Q vector is 90 degree. Okay, what I have done now in the previous problems, I try to take the essence of it and try to do it in a different way. That is, P equal to 1 dyne, a vector, Q equal to root over 3 dyne. Okay, it is a vector, but what is the relations between them? If P and Q are perpendicular to each other, okay, just try to connect. If P and Q are perpendicular to each other, these two forces are perpendicular to each other, then calculate the angle between P plus Q and P minus Q. So for convenience, we consider this is the x direction, this is the y direction. So P is along x directions, y is along, and Q is along y direction. So we can say P is 1 I cap. According to our concept, let we consider this. So we can write down this as let P equal to 1 I cap dyne and Q equal to root 3 j cap dyne. So if I write down P vector plus Q vector, it will be I cap plus root 3 j cap dyne. I think you have no problem. Now if I want to find out P minus Q vector, so it will be I cap minus root 3 j cap dyne. Okay, obviously this shows by here, and it is evident from the diagram, it is clear to you, I think. Now if I want to calculate the angle, this angle, you want to calculate this angle, that is theta 1, this angle. Okay, then this will be theta 1 equal to tan inverse mod of Q divided by mod of P. What is mod of Q? Mod of Q is root over 3 j cap. So mod of Q will be root over 3. So I write down root over 3. What is mod of P? Mod of P is 1 I cap dyne. So what is the value of it? That is 1. This is the unit direction, one dimensional vector. So it is 1. So it will be 1. So root 3 into 1 gives us 60 degrees. So it is 60 degree. If I want to find out this angle, that is, it is theta 2. If I consider it is theta 2, then the angle between the P vector minus Q vector, okay, with the x-axis, that is minus Q vector by P vector. Q vector is minus root 3 divided by 1. So tan inverse of minus root 3, that will be minus 60 degree. So what is the angle between them? 60 degree plus 60 degree. It is 60 degree in the anti-clockwise direction, so positive. This is a theta to 60 degree that we have calculated now, minus, so that will be in the anti-clockwise direction. So what is the angle between these two? The angle between these two will be in total 120 degree. So we have lots of things about the resultant of vectors that we have find out, and we have see several applications, and we also see several applications of different types in the next lecture, vector 10. Thank you.